The day the universe plays tricks on your heart doesn't start with thunder. It begins quietly, almost politely, like a knock on a door you forgot existed. Elias Varon expected nothing more than an ordinary Thursday afternoon. Drop his 8-year-old daughter Myra at art class, drink burnt coffee in the car, wonder if online dating was just a long, expensive joke. He did not expect to walk into a bright restaurant on Riverside Avenue, see a woman waiting at a table, and feel his breath torn out of his chest. She looked exactly, uncannily, painfully like someone he had buried 3 years earlier. The tilt of her chin, the dark hair pulled back, even the faint dimple on her left cheek. For a moment, he thought time had folded in on itself, that grief had grown arms and decided to stand up in front of him. His late wife, Mariel, had been dead since the night of the car crash, and yet here was a stranger with her face that if you believe kindness, second chances, and unexpected healing can exist in the real world. Go ahead and like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Bright Hearts right now. Elias forced himself to continue walking, knees weak, palms sweating through his clean shirt. He had almost canceled the blind date 10 times. He wasn't ready. He didn't like surprises, but his sister had begged him to try. He never expected the surprise to be this cruel. The woman stood when she saw him, smiling cautiously. Her name was Nara Eliron, according to the match profile. She reached for the chair, but all Elias could see was a hospital room at dusk. Mariel's fingers turning cold in his hands, the monitor flatlining, the white sheet pulled up. He blinked hard and sat down, trying to appear normal while his mind screamed. The restaurant smelled of rosemary and warm bread. Waiters glided between tables. Sunlight reflected off crystal glasses. But inside Elias it was storming. He kept staring at her face, memorizing similarities he didn't want to see. He wasn't trying to be rude. He just couldn't stop. Nara shifted, sensing something was off. Her voice was gentle, careful, and Elias felt a twist of guilt. It wasn't fair. She wasn't Mariel. She wasn't anything but a person trying to meet someone new. But grief isn't rational. It's an echo that hits without warning. He expected awkwardness to take over and destroy the evening. But something unexpected happened. Nara didn't fill the silence with pointless chatter. She simply waited, and her patience steadied him little by little. He realized she was nervous too, gripping her handbag a little too tightly, eyes darting around the dining room like she was searching for courage. In that shared discomfort, something shifted. They were two people trying and failing and trying again. Elias told himself to breathe. He began noticing differences. Nara's voice had a lower timbre, her smile curved differently, her laughter came quicker. Eventually, he found himself talking, not the rehearsed, "Where did you grow up?" lines he had prepared, but honest pieces of himself he hadn't said aloud in years. He told her he had a daughter, that he loved woodworking, that he still sometimes woke up at 2 a.m. expecting to hear footsteps that never came. Nara listened in a way that didn't feel like pity or politeness. She listened like someone who knew how fragile a person could be. The food arrived. Roasted vegetables, salmon with lemon glaze, a basket of warm rolls. Elias tried to focus on the plate, but his emotions kept rising. When Nara mentioned she had lost someone too, her brother to cancer, the tension in his chest softened. Pain recognizes pain, quietly and without ceremony. They sat in that new understanding, surrounded by late afternoon light. But Elias's heart was stubborn. It kept whispering old memories into new moments. The way Mariel used to tuck her hair behind her ear, the way she used to tilt her head when thinking. He could feel tears threatening to break. He excused himself and walked to the restroom, his reflection swimming in the mirror. Red-rimmed eyes, clenched jaw, the expression of a man torn between past and possibility. When he returned to the table, Nara looked worried. He realized then that there was a larger question beneath all this. Was he meeting a stranger? Or was he chasing a ghost? The turning point came unexpectedly. A waiter dropped a tray near a corner table, glass shattering like breaking ice. Everyone turned. Nara's hand instinctively moved toward Elias's, not touching, just reaching. It wasn't romantic, more like instinct, connection, safety. He felt his body respond before his mind did. Something inside him let go, just a fraction. Maybe grief didn't mean closing doors forever. Maybe it meant learning to live beside memories rather than inside them. They lingered after the meal, watching the city brighten outside the windows. Elias told Nara about Myra's art projects, how she painted rainbows on cardboard to fix rainy days. Nara laughed softly and said she worked as a physical therapist, helping people learn to walk again after injuries. That detail, simple and ordinary, hit Elias with surprising force. Someone who helped movement return to broken bodies. Was that coincidence or a quiet message from fate? When the bill came, Elias insisted on paying. They stepped outside, evening settling like a soft blanket. Cars moved slowly along the street. People walked dogs and carried takeout, normal life beating steadily. Elias felt suspended between then and now, fear and hope. He walked Nara to her car, hands in pockets, shoulders tense. He wanted to say something meaningful, but words felt clumsy. Nara paused before getting in. Her eyes held a question, but also acceptance. She wasn't demanding feelings he couldn't give. She simply offered presence. That was almost harder to bear than pressure. For days afterward, Elias carried the encounter like a stone in his chest. Myra noticed. Children notice everything. She asked if he had met someone nice. He said yes, then no, then maybe. Eventually, he told her what bothered him. Nara's resemblance to Mariel. Myra listened, chin in hand, wise in a way only kids can be. She said it might mean nothing or everything, and that hearts sometimes get confused when they're scared. Elias hesitated for weeks before calling Nara again. When he finally did, she sounded surprised but warm. They met for coffee at noon on a Saturday in a sunlit park cafe. This time, Elias was prepared. He looked for all the differences first, not the similarities. Her freckles, the way she stirred her latte counterclockwise, how she scrunched her nose when laughing. The more he noticed, the less she became a shadow of someone gone, and the more she became herself. Their second meeting stretched into a third and fourth. Elias introduced her to Myra slowly, carefully, respectfully. Nara never tried to fill empty spaces that didn't belong to her. She simply showed up, soccer practice, school art night, Sunday farmers market mornings. And Elias noticed something miraculous. Myra, who had been quiet since losing her mom, began painting again. Bright colors, shapes bursting like joy. Healing doesn't happen in grand cinematic gestures. It happens on ordinary days, during shared grocery lists and mismatched coffee mugs. Elias and Nara learned each other's silences, understood when to speak and when to sit still. He still had nights where grief returned, raw and uninvited, and Nara would quietly hold space beside him. Not replacing, just being. But the real moment of transformation came on a rainy Tuesday at Myra's school talent showcase. Myra stood on stage holding a canvas filled with swirling blues and golds. She declared it was a painting about storms turning into daylight. Elias felt tears rise again, but this time they weren't only for loss. They were for the courage of continuing. Nara squeezed his hand, and Elias realized something profound. Life doesn't erase the people we've loved. It expands to make room for those who come after. Pain and hope can coexist in the same heartbeat. Love doesn't replace. It teaches us to breathe again. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, comment your feelings below, and subscribe to Bright Hearts for more emotional, inspiring real-life stories. Before this story ends, I have a special request. Comment one word that gives you strength when life gets heavy. Elias never believed in second chances. But sometimes second chances look like a blind date you almost canceled, a familiar face that scares you at first, and a gentle presence that teaches you how to keep living. Love is not about forgetting the past. It is about walking into the future with memories as companions, not anchors. And on a bright afternoon at Myra's art show, Elias finally breathed without pain for the first time in years.